Hello everyone and welcome. We got to get started because we got a lot in a video. So here is the On the Farm collection, and we have got the Perfect Touch arches, and it has a tag in there. We also have the landscaped edges, and you've got grass, land, sky, and we have Ham It Up. This little pig set, so stinking cute. We've got Honk Honk, and we've got the little geese, and this is fun. And then we have Spring Chicken, so we've got the hen and the chickens, and I've got all my dies for those three laid on this magnet, and they all have coordinating stamp sets that go with them. And I'm showing you real quickly. I've sped this up because this is a very long video, and I actually had to make it in two to get through all these. We've also got the counting sheep, and we have got hay there with the cow. And then I've got all those dies on this. So I've basically put all the dies on two magnetic sheets. And then we've got the coordinating stamps that go with them. And when we actually work with those cards, I'll talk about the stamps that are in there. So I've got everything die cut out for all of these. We're only going to get through the first two cards on this video, and then we'll have a second video with the other ones. So today we're going to be working with the Ham It Up. And I've got my little pig element there. And the sentiments that come with this are sending hogs and kisses. Thanks so much, SOW. Ham it up on your birthday, and you are kind of a pig dill. I love those. They're just hilarious. So I'm going to just get all my pieces, parts here, and we're going to start assembling this pig. So we've got a little kind of an ovalish, circle-ish. It's not really even, but that I've die cut out in black, and it's going to cover up your eyes and then your nostrils, and it'll be a backer piece for your head. And I'm going to use that. And then I have die cut out some pink insides of my ears, and I'm going to get them laid down on there. And you are going to need your pick and stick tool, your tweezers, and just everything you use for the little bitty bits, because we have got a lot of them here. But this is super fun. Now you can die cut all of this stuff out with your Scout. You could probably even do the landscape edges if you had, a thin piece of paper that you were using. You could certainly do that and layer it up. Some of the arches you could run through your Scout, but some of them you would need probably the bigger machine for. The larger ones you would. So now I am just continuing to work on my little pig, and I'm getting his little hat. He's got a little hat with one of those spinners on the top of it, and it's super cute. And I've chosen to use two different greens. This is all Spellbinder's paper that I'm using. So it's good thick cardstock for your dies. And I'm just cleaning up the glue that's there. And that little hat is just darling. And then we've got the body there. And I was kind of holding it up. We have a scarf that you could put underneath the pig's chin there, and I will be using that. But I want to get that fourth leg on there. That fourth leg die cuts out separately, and you need to add that on there. So I'm just going to get it tucked in there and get it ready to go. And now I've got my little scarf, and I'm going to lay it down on my body of my pig, and then I'll layer my head on top of it. There is some really nice etched detail that, actually I guess I glued it to the chin, but there's some really nice etched detail to show you how the pig's head goes on there, and it's kind of cocked because you can see the etched detail for the ear, and so I'm using it to line it up, and this is super, super cute. So I'm just getting everything lined up the way I want. Now we have all of these little pig toes. I don't even know what you call them, pig's toes, maybe. We're going to get these laid down. And first I put the glue on top, and then I realized these need to glue from the back. So I'm going to wipe that off, clean it off, and then we'll get these all flipped over and add some glue on the top of those. And these are the little bits. They're kind of hopping around my desk there. And I'm just going to get them glued up on my little pig legs. And they have kind of the same detail that the legs do, so you can line them up pretty nicely and figure out how to do it. And you can see these little pieces are just kind of bouncing around. So you need all of your tools to work with this, but man, is this fun. I love the little pieces. Isn't this cute? So cute. And so now you've got two like mud puddles here. You've got a smaller one and a larger one, and I've die cut those out in, I don't know, Dune cardstock or Portobello. I think it's Dune, and I actually do some ink blending on my pig and my mud puddle later. But so that is all of the pieces for our pig. And I realized I was making a gluey mess on my glass mat, so I brought in this scrapbook.com silicone mat, and I'm going to do my gluing on this going forward, and because we've still got lots of bits and pieces. So next we are going to be working with our Honk Honk, which is a hilarious name for it. And we've got two of our, I guess, geese, and we've got two sets of feet. We've got like a male and a female, and they've got cute little head dressings, I guess I should say. He has a cap, and then she has a scarf. And so we're going to get the legs on them. We've got his little cap, and she's got a red scarf. And we've got a little die piece here that goes behind the eye to cover the eye, and then it gives you a landing zone for the beak. So you're just going to get it layered up in there behind the eye of the geese, and then you'll have a spot to put your beak on there as well. And I've got his little cap there, and this is her little scarf, and this is kind of how it's going to go on there. And then we've got their little beaks. And I'm just going to try to dab as lightly as I can, just a little bit of glue on there, and then get those beaks laid down. I really fussed with that glue I've got the wide nozzle in that glue press because it had been clogging up so bad I was using a needle every time I went to use it. So I put the wide nozzle in there, and so now I'm kind of struggling with getting too much glue out, but I'm cleaning it up with my fingers and it's working out fine. I'm just trying to get the beak lined up just perfectly, and I'm going to do the same on him. Super cute. And then we've got her little scarf, and I'm just going to dip it in some glue I had there on the silicone mat and just lay it down on her head, and it is super cute. And then he's got this little, I don't know what kind of cap it's called. I think somebody told me one time, but I can't remember. Anyway, and then that will pretty much assemble our geese. Now I'm going to bring in just my blue, it's like a teal blue blending brush, and I'm just using whatever is on it just to add some little shadow to my geese. I didn't want to use gray or anything like that. I thought I'd use blue. And then here I've got her little puddle that is dripping from her being in the water, and then his little puddle. And I'm just going to put his feet on his little puddle and pinch it together, and then we'll do the same with her. And then we're going to lay these aside. Now, I put together all the other animals this day during this sitting, and I'm going to cut this video in half, and I'm going to work with these two sets of animals here. I took my white Jelly Roll pen, and I added some polka dots to her scarf, and I'm going to give him a little trim on his hat in the white as well, and I think it'll be cute. So this is where I cut the rest of the footage away, where I was assembling all the other farm animals, and I'm actually going to just start creating a card. If I would have left this together, it would have been a 3-hour video, and I don't think anybody would want to watch for that long. So I'm going to split it up. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the Perfect Touch arches, and I've got several layers of them here, and I'm just layering them up. I've actually got the smallest. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, basically, from the smallest out. And I've got the tag, and I'm going to use the tag area for my landing zone for my little ham, my little piggy. And I'm using my crocodile here to put my circle all the way through there. And then I don't really need it because I'm not going to tie around all those layers, but I'll wind up just putting a bow on there. But anyway, so I've also got my pink panel embossed over there that I'm going to use to layer this up. I think it'd be fun to bring the pink back in since I'm laying it on green and this blue. I've chosen the greens because of what I've done with the pig's hat. You know, I've given him the fern hat and then the, I don't know, peridot little spinner hat. And then we've got the Dune cardstock that is our mud puddle. And I'm just going to get these two layered up and laid down on there, and it's going to be our little puddle of mud that our little piggy's going to be standing in. And I'm going to pop him up. I'll leave his feet out without foam tape, and then I'll pop up the rest of him, and the feet will land on that raised panel where we've got the mud, and that'll work out just fine. So I've spent the entire day in the craft room and I've done three videos actually, because I've split this one in half, and I did one other one that I was trying to load for today, and it has been loading all day. So I didn't have a video run today, and I'm like, gosh, I've been in the craft room all day, and I don't even have the video on my channel. But anyway, I decided once I stopped with this that I would try to upload the video again while I was doing the voiceover on this, and then the one that's taking forever to upload, I'll delete it. Anyway, for this one, I'm going to use the Ham It Up, It's Your Birthday, and I'm going to stamp this 3 times before I get it the way that I want it, because for one, it's the first time I've used the stamp set, and for 2, I was just needed to not press quite so hard. So 3rd time's the charm, and I'm just going to fussy cut around here, and we're going to use Ham It Up on Your Birthday, and I'm going to have some birthday cards. We're going to make the other one a birthday card as well, because it seems like I always need birthday cards, and these are super fun and darling. So we'll put some foam tape on this, and I'm going to get it tucked in there, and I'm kind of putting it on a diagonal. I'm actually going to offset this when I lay it down on my card base. So I've got some of my pink and white twine here, and I'm just going to tie a little bitty bow, and I'll put that over my hole there, my tag hole, and I'm going to get those dots where you just have like a little dot of sticky and lay that down on there. Then we'll trim this down, and I think the bow looks cute on there, and it kind of goes with all the pink that we're using on our card. So we'll just trim that off. Now I need to grab a card base, so I'm going to go looking for one of those. And I've got a top folding card base, and we've got this embossed panel that I used the Faceted Petals embossing folder. It is the embossing folder of the month for January. And I'm just taking my Kitsch Flamingo ink pad, Distress Oxide, and I'm just brushing over the raised areas lightly and adding a little bit of darker color on this panel. And I think it really looks good with the pig because he's got two-tone pinks on him. And we'll get some glue on here and get this panel laid down, and we're going to have our first card come together. I'm just giving it a good press because we've got that embossed panel, making sure it sticks good. Cleaning up any mess, and we're going to just kind of tilt this. And I'm debating on if I'm going to pop this up, and I decided that I would. So I'm going to grab some pink foam tape, and I'm going to actually die cut out the third smallest, and then I decide before I put it down, sometimes they stretch out, the foam does, so I'm going to go ahead and just take off that stitched edge there, and that'll give me a little room so I won't have to worry about it showing underneath my vellum. And I got it a little bit crooked on there, so I'm going to have to trim off just a little tiny bit of the corner there so it doesn't show through. And then we'll get it glued up and laid down. And I think this really looks cute. Normally you wouldn't think of the green and the pink to go together, but I think it looks nice. So I'm going to move on to my next card. Now I've got a whole bunch of die cut pieces here where I took my landscape edges and I took some scraps. And I will tell you, all of these pieces here were all scraps, even the pig pieces. I just brought in scraps that I had and I used them. So you can see I'm layering all these scraps up, and what I'm doing is I'm going to create some grass, some water, some more grass, some clouds, and some sky. And I'm just layering them right on top of each other and just gluing them on there. And then I'm going to use our Perfect Touch arches and die cut out an arch around that. And it's pretty thick. I mean, this is Spellbinder's paper. I'm going to get some pink tape and tape it up so that it doesn't shift on me because I really like how I have it positioned here. So I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine, and I'll use 3 presses. So I just went back and forth and back. I did 3 presses on there and was able to cut through that heavy Spellbinder's cardstock. And I've got my little geese with their little puddles underneath their feet. And I'm going to actually glue him down, and I'm going to bring in some foam tape to pop up. There is a cut there in their wings, and I'm going to put some foam tape there to push it forward so that you'll really see that dimension on him. And then I'll glue him down. And then for her, I'm going to put 2 layers of dimension on that wing, and then I'll put 1 layer of dimension on the rest of her and pop her up. And the 2 layers will pop that wing up a little bit further than the rest of the body. So we'll just get that foam tape on there, and then we'll get her laid down on our panel. Now these 2 cards aren't going to be matchy-matchy for the picture because I went with different color schemes because I chose the red hat for her. So I felt like I needed to do some red in the background. And so we'll have a pink card and a red card. So they won't be real matchy-matchy in the picture at the end, but I think this comes together really cute. And next I'm going to try and decide what I want to use for my background paper. So it takes a minute. I grab my thing, go off camera, and I just grabbed some Poppy Spellbinder's cardstock, and I'm using my Picket Fence Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just inking it up much like I did the panel on the first card. And I'm going to use this for my background panel, and I think it's going to turn out really nice. So I'm just doing some cleanup here of my area, and I put that magnet on the first card because I noticed it wasn't gluing down right. So I'm just going to get my desk cleaned off here, and we're going to bring in this panel and start assembling our card. And I think it really pops on there, especially with her little red scarf. I think it looks really cute. So I've grabbed a card base, and I've got my panel there, and I'm just going to get it laid down, and we're going to get this card wrapped up. And this panel, this card base was off, so I'm going to take it to my die cutting, or my guillotine, and cut it down, and I'll be right back. So I've got my background panel there, and I'm thinking, I think I might want to layer it up. So I'm going to go and grab a white panel and die cut it out with the arches, and we're going to add that on there, and I think it'll just help it to pop off of the red and the white. So we'll get this laid down on there, and then we're going to lay our little scene down. And then I'm going to choose a sentiment that we're going to use for this. And I decided again that I was going to use it for a birthday party. So I'm going to choose Make a Splash on Your Birthday. And we're going to get it stamped up. I decided I wanted to bring some red back into our card. So I'm going to use that Make a Splash on Your Birthday sentiment. And I'm going to use the Poppy cardstock. And I'm going to bring in some embossing ink. I think it's VersaFine Clear. It's clear, and I'm going to use some white embossing powder, and we're going to get this stamped and embossed. So I'll just ink it up a couple times, and then I'll grab my paper, and we'll get it laid underneath there, and we'll get some embossing powder, and we'll get it embossed up. I didn't use my anti-static powder tool. I rarely do that. I should have here, but I didn't. But it'll be okay. I'll use a brush, wipe off a little bit, and I think it'll be fine. It's not perfect, but it's better than horrible. So here I'm going to take this brush and just kind of brush off some little flakes that I have there. And I'll grab my heat tool, and we'll get this embossed. And I think I'm going to like how that red looks on that. I'm going to put it on my scene area, and I think it'll just tie everything together really nice. So I'm going to first grab a die and die cut this out, and then I'm not going to like it, and I'll fussy cut it. So I bring this back in and I lay it down on there, and I'm like, it's just too big. I don't like it. I'm just going to fussy cut around there, and then we'll pop it up and get it laid down on there, and this will pretty much finish off this card. And I'm just kind of curving around the curvy letters and just wiggling around a little bit, not worrying too much about it. And I actually like it much better if I just cut out. I wish they'd given us a die for this particular sentiment, and some of the more curvy ones on the other stamps as well. That would have been nice. So I'm going to bring in some foam tape, and we'll pop this up and lay this down. This has been an incredibly fun set. I worked a lot on it because I have all of the pieces, but I think they turn out super cute. I like them both. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.